Why, I remember thinking when somebody asked me about taking nature hikes, what the hell is that? We don't take nature hikes. We just go for a walk. You know what I mean? Like we're already in that state of frame of mind, but we don't need to assert dominion over nature. It's not us who are damming up all the rivers. We created certain traps and certain things. We have a civilization, but the things that we've been conditioned to do, and I don't want to say white people, I don't want to say Americans, it's something bigger than that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
White people was never a reality. There was no white people 400 years ago. And then white people were invented at the same time as currency was invented, And there's this racialization that has taken place. Indian is not a real term. There's no such thing as Indians or blacks. You know what I mean? But those are labels that have been given a violent institutional reality. I'm not saying there ain't racism. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But we've got to do everything we can, because they are trying to extinguish a fire, and we present the only challenge to that next 1,000 years of a secular, nihilistic, consumer-based, extractive order. Add all those things together of whatever is in front of us and whatever we've inherited, institutionally and economically, politically, everything that is imposed on us, that we just kind of are born into, and we participate in that process. I remember when the kids were little, and every time it was some corporate driven holiday, and my wife just calls me cheap for this, but when it's Christmas and I go in and I got to buy the gifts, and I look down the same hallway of any department store in America, and there's just endless rows of petrochemical, substance-based things to buy every time. You know what I mean? And that there is an order here that indigenous nations and those who are seeking a sacred relationship with themselves and with the elemental and universal powers, that's the only thing threatening that order. If I'm the CEO, or if I own majority shares in some corporate extractive company, then I want extracting got to be happening. It's got to be a profit in order for me to live my life.
Yeah.
I want endless war. I want to lend money to this side of the war and that side of the war, and I want to sell armaments to this side and that side. So the spiritual liberation that we are walking with is very serious.